Brothers, sisters, indeed, I feel great honor to see meeting with you. So then, I think you already know this is some my commitment. Number one commitment, promotion of sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. I feel now a lot of problems which we are facing is with too much emphasis on differences, that actually differences on secondary level, yes, there are differences. Different nationality, different system, or different religion, and within same sort of community, differences rich and poor, educated, uneducated. This is so many sort of factors to make divisions. Divisions where? Differences. Since with too much emphasis on secondary level of differences, then conflict come. For national interest, religious interest, or many sort of reasons, you see, the problem happen. So now only remedy to reduce this problem, we have to go deeper level. We are same human being. I want a happy life. They also want a happy life. They also part of me, part of us. So whole world should consider part of us, part of me. There's a reason I'm one of the 7 billion human beings. The humanity, happy, peace, I also get maximum benefit. If humanity much sort of, or say the distrust, fear, problem, then individual, every individual, directly or indirectly, uncomfortable. And morally speaking, our brothers, sisters, dying, killing. How can we remain indifferent? We have to work, whether effective or not, we have to do something. So therefore, my number one commitment is promotion of sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. The second commitment, I am Buddhist, so promotion of religious harmony. Now these days, due to different religion, even within same religion, like Sunni and Shia, within same sort of Muslim, some problems. So this, no proper reason, no sort of, like that. So this, too much narrow-minded, short-sighted. And on top of that, sometimes I think politicians a little bit sort of manipulated. Like Northern Ireland, I have been few times there. So I told the people, the political differences, Great Britain and Ireland, I said, let them solve. We people who have some sort of, what say, I mean, in the people level, we should not involve name of religion, Catholics, Protestant. That's terribly mistake. So if some problem or some connection with the politicians, then let them solve. The genuine sort of believer say, all carry same message, whether Christian, whether Jews or Muslim, Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, all, you see, should be more compassionate person, because all this teaching the ultimate sort of message is message of love. And in order to carry these sort of the practice more successfully, they also, you see, teach us importance of tolerance, forgiveness, and self-discipline. So therefore, and then one example, India, most populated democratic country, ancient country, all major world religious traditions live there together. Occasionally some problem, but basically very, very harmony. So therefore, since one big democratic country, over 2,000 years religious harmony there, so then, you see, in ancient time, nation or continent more or less isolated. Now today, through information, through technology, and also economy and tourists, you see, we much closer. So now there is possibility to promote religious harmony through understanding, through mutual respect. So that's my number 2 commitment. Number 3, I'm Tibetan. Political matter, since 2011, I totally retired. Not only myself retired, but also, you see, about 4 centuries tradition, Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality. Now that formally, voluntarily, happily ended. So future Dalai, sometimes I jokingly telling, since 5th Dalai Lama started this practice. So if 5th Dalai Lama reappear, what he going to say? But then there's no danger. His reappearance, so I can decide. So I really feel some of our religious sort of institution, including Dalai Lama institution, some connection or some sort of influence the existing society sort of, also the habit. That is feudal system. So that now feudal system outdated. Now democracy, freedom of individual, freedom of the community, rule of law, not rule of individual, but a rule of law. That's now time. So the Dalai Lama institution is outdated. So I totally sort of, not only myself is retired, but also you see, cease the tradition, that tradition. Now we enjoy political matter, you see, carried by elected political leadership. So recently, our political sort of, we do election. You see, originally few candidates, then later 2 candidates. So the way, you see, there are sort of competition. Also, we learned from Indian politicians sort of competition. And now in America also now too, they are quite seriously competing each other. So my Indian friend, you see, told me, oh, your election, now a little bit sort of, too much sort of competition or like that. Then I told him, ancient time, we learned all this rich sort of philosophy or psychology, or these things we learned from India. Now, modern time, we're also learning from Indian politicians' sort of behavior. I told them. Sense of competition. So in any way, since then, you see, I fully committed preservation of Tibetan ecology. That is something very important. And then preservation of Tibetan culture, including Tibetan language. A culture of peace, culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. That is really worthwhile to preserve. Then also, you see, Tibetan knowledge about ancient India's Nalanda tradition. I usually describe those Nalanda masters for Buddhists. Of course, these are Buddhist masters. But on human level, these are great philosophers. And because they very much emphasis on reason, if you investigate, or say the reasons, through reasons, if you see Buddha's own teaching goes against reality, then we have the liberty to reject Buddha's own word. So, you see, their way of thinking is very scientific. You see, they very much emphasize experiment and reasoning, not just faith. So sometimes I describe, you see, these great masters of Nalanda, also, you see, ancient Indian scientists, like that. So I really feel worthwhile to preserve that kind of, I may say, very scientific way of kasota, spirituality, like that. So, and then it is my duty to thank our friend, the European Union, right from the beginning, very much supportive about our issue, our problem. So it is my duty on behalf of 6 million Tibetan people, their life, constant fear, difficult. So I want to thank you, and not only thank, but also appeal the Tibetan issue, as I mentioned earlier. We are not seeking independence. History is history. We very much sort of impressed the spirit of European Union. Independent sort of sovereign state, important, but not so important. But common interest is more important. So we also, you say, happily join or remain within the People's Republic of China, provided they must respect our unique culture, including language and rich Buddhist philosophy. And preservation of Tibetan rich Buddhist tradition, immense help to Chinese Buddhists. Now there are about 400 million Buddhists in China. So many of these Chinese Buddhists, they really showing genuine interest and now recognize Tibetan Buddhist tradition is authentic Nalanda tradition, like that. So I want to thank you